everybody, Tom Barnes, Stories from the 78 today in the Old Irving Park neighborhood. I'm at Eris, which is this amazing cider house and brewery. They have a big event here where they do a fancy Spanish pour, and that's what all this is right here. They're going to be doing this in about an hour or so, so people are getting ready. There's judges, and it qualifies for a bigger event later this week at the Cider Summit downtown, right at Navy Pier. So it's 2 sessions on Saturday. I'm going to talk to Alan, who's the founder of the whole thing, now for this story from the 78. All right, so we're moments away from the Sconciar competition, and I have my friend Alan here. Alan, you have an integral part of this entire event that is the Cider Summit here in Chicago, with this being like the first round to kick it off, right?
Right, so we have lots of things going on this week for cider in Chicago. We have CiderCon, which is the industry conference. We have Cider Week going on, which is several days, obviously, of different cider events sponsored by brands all around town, including here at Eris. And then our team produces the Cider Summit Festival, which is the largest consumer cider tasting event. And that takes place Saturday at Navy Pier.
Right, and it's 2 sessions. But before we get into that,
right,
talk about Eris, because this is it's a brewery, a cider house. It's massive building. You were giving a little history before it. Friends of yours run this place. That's why we're here. I mean, it's a giant cider house right here in the middle of the Irving Park neighborhood.
Yeah, this place has incredible history. It's a woman-owned business, co-founded by Michelle Foyk, who's been around the Chicago beer and cider scene for many, many years, and her business partner, Katie Pizza. And they took over this building with incredible history. It was originally a Mason's Lodge, and they're actually celebrating Eris is celebrating their 5th anniversary this week. But just prior to them taking possession of it, it was a church, I think a Korean church. Wow. And so they came in and redid it. It's multi-level. It's just got incredible construction.
That is a whole other story in itself that I got to come back here and talk to them about. And I know somebody now who can help me interact with them. But exactly. There is a big event tonight here, and what we said earlier is the name of the pour that's qualifying for the big event that is on Saturday.
Right, so this is technically a Cider Week event. It's hosted by Eris that we're collaborating with our Cider Summit Festival. So tonight we have the semifinals of the Sconciar competition, and that is a term that from Spain that is the long pour, the Spanish pour.
Sure.
And so came from a lot of Spanish ciders are very acidic, and they're generally designed to be kind of flat. So they created this pour where the basically creating the oxygen, the CO2 to it,
sure,
brings out aromas and some of the flavors, and then creates some bubbles, some carbonation. So it's really, they call it throwing cider.
Ah, I see.
Right, so it's held over your head and you hold the glass down below your waist, and people that are really good at it, can like close their eyes, do it blindfolded, and catch the cider in the glass, and it's super cool. And so we have somewhere around 20 people that have signed up to do this, and we've got a team of our Sconciar experts who will select the top 3.
Yeah, they're arriving now, and I'm just going to swing the camera over here because that's where it's going to be. I mean, the plastic's down for maybe the amateurs, but the professionals won't have that plastic down there. I'm just going to step out here. But otherwise, this gets people to qualify for the main event this weekend that is part of the Cider Summit here in Chicago.
Right, so 3 people will be selected, and they will get admissions to Cider Summit, and at 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon during session 1, we'll have the pour-off on the main stage at the Navy Pier Aon Grand Ballroom. And we actually are going to broadcast that on the Cider Chat YouTube channel.
Fantastic.
If people can't make it to the event, they can still watch it, and it should be kind of fun. We've never done this at Cider Summit before, so just add a little fun and interest to people. And a tiny bit of education thrown in
absolutely.
as well.
There's always, I'm sure there's people who are always willing to learn just because they want to fall in love with this this culture, which is the different side of brewing. You know, I mean, it's not beer, it's cider, and there's a whole other gamut of things to learn. But that's why there's a summit, to educate and to have a lot of fun. And there's 2 sessions, which is unique because it's a massive event. It's a good time.
Yeah, and so it's right. It was designed to be really a sampling, tasting opportunity, and so you have people that are like, uber cider geeks that really want to get into like the Spanish pour stuff and high end things from Normandy, and then you have people that we just kind of refer to as the cider curious that want to try the craziest styles, the jalapeno mango
Sure, why not? Get
ciders,
crazy.
and so we have roughly 140 ciders this year, and so you can find your little niche or area of interest and have at it.
Speaking of have at it, people want to do that. What's the best way for them to find the tickets to attend this event and all that stuff?
Cidersummit.com. So, and you'll be able to click on a tab that says Chicago and another tab that says tickets. Our VIP tickets are sold out. They have been for a couple weeks, but we have general admission available. So the 2 sessions for general admission tickets are noon to 3 and then 5 to 8.
Wonderful. Alan, thank you very much for the little brief education about this, and it's a fun event. The pour is going to be a lot of fun, and the summit this weekend, lots of fun, and it's a good excuse to get out weekend before the Super Bowl, get what you want so you have everything in hand for the Super Bowl for all your cider needs, right?
It's a fun vibe, and there's lots to do. It's a cool spot, Navy Pier, and after those, the January doldrums, you can get out and go have a good time, and that's one of the things people always look forward to with our
Absolutely.
event.
It's been a pleasure talking with you, and one more shout out to Eris for hosting this event. It's a wonderful place, and I will definitely do a story here as well, so thank you for that.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tom.
No problem. Alrighty, that's the story here in the Old Irving Park neighborhood. TomBarnishChicago@gmail.com. If you have a suggestion for a story from the 78, or head over to the website storiesfromthe78.com. Thanks for watching. See you at the fest this weekend, everybody.